Every Halloween, the Johnson family's elaborate haunted maze drew crowds from across the city. But this year, the neighborhood HOA had other plans. When they threatened to shut it down, one family decided to fight back. The battle that followed would divide the community, spark a holiday feud, and prove that sometimes the scariest things aren't found in the shadows. Sarah Johnson stared at the letter in disbelief, her hands trembling. "They can't be serious," she muttered, rereading the words emblazoned in bold type. CEASE and DECIST. Halloween MAZ violation. For the past 7 years, Sarah and her husband, Michael, had transformed their backyard into an award-winning haunted attraction. Dubbed the Halloween Town Maze, it had become a beloved tradition, drawing hundreds of costumed visitors each October. But now the neighborhood's homeowners association was demanding they shut it down. "This is ridiculous." Sarah fumed, storming into the kitchen where Michael was carving pumpkins with their 2 kids, Lily and Aiden. "The HOA is threatening to sue us if we don't dismantle the maze." Michael's brow furrowed. "What? But we've been doing this for years. It's the highlight of the neighborhood." "Apparently, they think it's a liability and violates some obscure HOA rule," Sarah said, her voice dripping with frustration. "They claim it's a nuisance and disrupts the peaceful ambience." Lily, overhearing the conversation, looked up in alarm. "You mean we can't do the maze this year?" The 10-year-old's eyes filled with tears. "But that's my favorite part of Halloween." Aiden, age 8, jumped up from his pumpkin carving. "You can't let them stop us. The maze is the coolest thing ever." Michael placed a hand on his children's shoulders, shooting Sarah a determined look. "Don't worry, kids. We're not going to let the HOA ruin our Halloween traditions." Sarah felt a surge of pride at her husband's unwavering resolve. "That's right. This year, the Halloween Town Maze is going to be bigger and scarier than ever. We'll show those HOA busybodies that our haunted house is a community treasure, not a nuisance." The family spent the next few weeks meticulously planning their most elaborate maze yet. They built new animatronic monsters, designed chilling new scenes, and recruited a team of dedicated volunteers to help with the construction. As October 31st drew nearer, whispers of the Johnsons' defiance began to spread through the neighborhood. Some residents supported the family's stand against the HOA, while others grumbled about the chaos the maze caused each year. On the eve of Halloween, Sarah and Michael stood in their backyard, surveying the towering walls of the maze. Lily and Aiden bounced with excitement, their costumes ready for the big night. "Are you sure we should do this?" Sarah asked, a flicker of doubt in her voice. "What if the HOA follows through on their threats?" Michael wrapped an arm around his wife, a mischievous grin spreading across his face. "Don't worry, honey. This year, the Halloween Town Maze is going to be the talk of the town." The streets of the neighborhood were bustling with excited trick-or-treaters as the Johnson family welcomed the first visitors to their Halloween Town Maze. Colorful lights and eerie shadows danced across the towering walls, drawing gasps of delight from the crowd. "This is amazing," exclaimed a young girl in a princess costume, clutching her parents' hands. "I've never seen anything like it." As the guests made their way through the maze, they encountered a host of chilling surprises. Animatronic monsters lunged from the darkness, prompting shrieks and laughter. Hidden speakers blasted bone-chilling sound effects, creating an immersive atmosphere of terror and wonder. Despite the family's defiance of the HOA's demands, the event was a resounding success. Neighbors young and old marveled at the Johnsons' creativity and dedication, their initial concerns about the nuisance quickly forgotten. As the night wore on, word of the Halloween Town Maze's grandeur spread like wildfire. Crowds grew larger, with eager trick-or-treaters lining up for their chance to brave the haunted experience. Sarah and Michael beamed with pride, high-fiving each other as they watched their children guide guests through the maze. "I can't believe we pulled this off," Sarah whispered, her eyes shining. "I told you the HOA couldn't stop us," Michael replied, giving her a quick kiss on the cheek. Meanwhile, across town, the members of the neighborhood HOA huddled in an emergency meeting, their faces etched with growing frustration. "This is an outrage," fumed Mrs. Wilkins, the HOA president. "The Johnsons have completely disregarded our orders. We have to put a stop to this immediately." Mr. Hendricks, a stern-faced retiree, nodded in agreement. "Absolutely. This kind of blatant defiance sets a dangerous precedent. We can't allow them to undermine the authority of the HOA." The group debated various courses of action, from fines to legal injunctions. However, as the night wore on, and reports of the Halloween Town maze's overwhelming popularity continued to pour in, their sense of urgency only grew. "We have to do something before this gets completely out of hand," Mrs. Wilkins declared, slamming her fist on the table. "The Johnsons have embarrassed us in front of the entire community. This cannot stand." As the HOA members plotted their next move, the haunted maze continued to captivate the neighborhood. Costumed children and adults alike marveled at the Johnsons' creativity, their laughter and screams echoing through the streets long into the night. The next morning, the neighborhood was abuzz with talk of the Halloween Town maze. Neighbors stopped to congratulate the Johnsons on their impressive display, their initial concerns about the nuisance now forgotten. But the members of the HOA remained steadfast in their determination to shut down the haunted attraction. As they convened for an emergency meeting, the tension in the room was palpable. "This has gone on long enough," Mrs. Wilkins declared, her voice dripping with disdain. "The Johnsons have blatantly disregarded our orders, and now the entire community is in an uproar. We have to take immediate action." Mr. Hendricks nodded in agreement. "I agree. This kind of behavior cannot be tolerated. The Johnsons have shown a complete disregard for the rules and regulations we've put in place to maintain the integrity of our neighborhood." The other HOA members murmured their assent, their expressions grim. "So, what do you propose we do?" asked Mrs. Wilkins, her gaze fixed on the group. "We need to hit them where it hurts," Mr. Hendricks replied, a calculating glint in his eye. "Fines and legal threats clearly haven't deterred them. It's time to escalate our efforts." The HOA members leaned in, listening intently as Mr. Hendricks outlined his plan. As the discussion progressed, their expressions shifted from stern determination to a sense of gleeful anticipation. "Yes, that's exactly what we need to do," Mrs. Wilkins said, a triumphant smile spreading across her face. "This will teach the Johnsons a lesson they'll never forget." Meanwhile, the Johnsons were blissfully unaware of the HOA's machinations as they continued to bask in the success of their Halloween Town maze. The family spent the day fielding calls and messages from neighbors, all offering praise and gratitude for their efforts. "I can't believe how much everyone loves it," Lily exclaimed, her face glowing with excitement. "We're the talk of the whole neighborhood." Idon bounced up and down, his superhero costume rustling. "This is the best Halloween ever. I wish it could last forever." Sarah and Michael exchanged a knowing glance, their hearts swelling with pride. "Don't worry, kids," Michael said, ruffling Idon's hair. "This is just the beginning. Wait until you see what we have planned for next year." As the sun set, the Johnsons set to work on the final preparations for the second night of their haunted maze. Unbeknownst to them, the HOA was already mobilizing its forces, determined to put an end to the family's Halloween defiance once and for all. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the Halloween Town maze came alive once again. Excited trick-or-treaters and curious neighbors flooded the streets, eager to experience the hauntingly delightful display. The Johnsons greeted each guest with enthusiasm, guiding them through the maze's twisted pathways. Lily and Idon, dressed as a witch and a superhero, darted through the shadows, startling unsuspecting visitors with their playful antics. Sarah and Michael beamed with pride, their hard work and dedication clearly paying off as the community embraced their Halloween creation. "This is amazing," exclaimed a neighbor, her young daughter clutching her hand in delight. "You've really outdone yourselves this year." "We're so glad you're enjoying it," Sarah replied, her eyes sparkling. "It's been a labor of love, but seeing the smiles on everyone's faces makes it all worth it." As the night wore on, the crowds continued to swell, with word of the Halloween Town Maze's popularity spreading throughout the city. Visitors from neighboring communities flocked to the neighborhood, eager to experience the haunted attraction for themselves. Meanwhile, the members of the HOA huddled in a dark conference room, their faces etched with fury. "This is unacceptable." Mrs. Wilkins spat, slamming her fist on the table. "The Johnsons have made a mockery of our authority, and I won't stand for it any longer." Mr. Hendricks nodded in agreement, his brow furrowed in concentration. "We've tried playing by the rules, but clearly that's not enough. It's time to take drastic measures." The other HOA members murmured their assent, their expressions hardening with determination. "Exactly," Mrs. Wilkins said, her voice laced with menace. "It's time to show the Johnsons that they can't defy us and get away with it." As the night wore on, the HOA members put their plan into action. They dispatched a team of inspectors to the Halloween Town Maze, armed with a long list of alleged violations. The inspectors descended upon the Johnsons, clipboard in hand, their expressions stern and unyielding. "We've received multiple complaints about the safety and legality of your haunted attraction," one of the inspectors announced, his voice dripping with disdain. "You're in violation of several HOA regulations, and we have no choice but to shut it down immediately." Sarah and Michael exchanged a panicked glance, their hearts sinking. "What? No, that can't be," Sarah protested, her voice trembling. "We followed all the rules and regulations to the letter." The inspector shook his head, his expression unwavering. "I'm afraid the HOA has determined that your maze poses a serious threat to the community. You have 24 hours to dismantle it, or will be forced to take legal action." As the inspectors began to catalog the alleged violations, the Johnsons watched in dismay, their dreams of a successful Halloween seeming to crumble before their eyes. The Johnsons stood in stunned silence as the HOA inspectors systematically cataloged every alleged violation in their beloved Halloween Town Maze. Sarah's heart raced, her mind frantically searching for a way to save their creation. "This can't be happening," she whispered to Michael, her voice trembling. "We followed all the rules, and now they're trying to shut us down." Michael placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder, his brow furrowed in concentration. "Don't worry, honey. We're not going down without a fight." Lily and Idun watched the scene unfold, their faces filled with a mix of confusion and dismay. "Mom, Dad, what's going on?" Lily asked, her eyes wide with concern. "Why are they trying to close the maze?" Sarah pulled her children close, forcing a smile. "Don't worry, sweetie. We're going to figure this out. The maze isn't going anywhere." The inspector cleared his throat, interrupting the family's moment. "I'm afraid the decision has already been made. You have 24 hours to dismantle this attraction or face legal action." Michael stepped forward, his jaw set with determination. "Look, we've been doing this for years, and we've always followed the rules. This maze is a beloved tradition in our community, and we're not going to let you shut it down without a fight." The inspector's expression remained impassive. "The HOA has made its decision, and it's final. I suggest you start taking everything down immediately." As the inspectors continued their assessment, the Johnsons retreated to their home, their minds racing with a mixture of anger, fear, and determination. "We can't let them do this to us," Sarah said, pacing the kitchen. "This maze is our family's legacy. We put our hearts and souls into it." Michael nodded, his eyes burning with resolve. "You're right. We've worked too hard to let the HOA take this away from us. We need to find a way to fight back." Lily and Idun listened intently, their faces etched with concern. "What are we going to do, Mom and Dad?" Lily asked, her voice trembling. Sarah pulled her children into a tight hug. Don't worry, you two. We're not going to let the HOA ruin our Halloween. We're going to come up with a plan, and we're going to show them that the Halloween Town maze is here to stay. The family huddled together, their voices hushed as they began to brainstorm ways to save their beloved creation. Despite the overwhelming odds, they were determined to find a solution and prove to the HOA that they weren't going down without a fight. The Johnsons spent the night huddled around the kitchen table, their heads bent together as they pored over a stack of papers and blueprints. Lily and Aiden watched with rapt attention, their eyes shining with hope. Okay, here's what we're going to do, Michael said, his voice low and determined. The HOA is claiming we're in violation of a bunch of rules, right? Well, we're going to go through each one and prove them wrong. Sarah nodded, her brow furrowed in concentration. And we're going to do it in a way that shows the community how much this maze means to us. We're not going to just roll over and let them shut us down. Lily's face lit up with excitement. So, we're going to fight back. Michael reached over and gave her shoulder a reassuring squeeze. You bet, kiddo. This is our family's legacy, and we're not going to let anyone take that away from us. As the first rays of dawn peeked through the kitchen windows, the Johnsons sprang into action. They divided up the tasks, with Sarah and Michael leading the charge on the legal and logistical aspects, while Lily and Aiden focused on rallying the neighborhood's support. Throughout the day, the Johnsons worked tirelessly, their determination fueling their every move. They meticulously documented every aspect of the maze's construction, from the safety protocols to the permits they had obtained over the years. Meanwhile, Lily and Aiden took to the streets, knocking on doors and spreading the word about the HOA's attempt to shut down the beloved Halloween Town maze. To their delight, the response from the community was overwhelmingly positive. Are you kidding? We love the maze, exclaimed one neighbor, a broad smile spreading across her face. The HOA can't just take that away from us. Another resident, a burly man in a Spider-Man costume, nodded emphatically. Darn right. That maze is the highlight of our Halloween, and we're not going to let some stuck-up HOA ruin it. As the day wore on, the Johnsons' resolve only grew stronger. They were determined to prove to the HOA that the Halloween Town maze was not only a cherished community tradition, but also a fully compliant and safe attraction. As night fell, the family gathered once more around the kitchen table, their faces alight with a newfound determination. All right, team, Michael said, a confident smile spreading across his face. Let's show the HOA what we're made of. The next day, the Johnsons arrived at the Halloween Town maze with a team of community volunteers in tow. Armed with a meticulously organized dossier of documentation, they were ready to confront the HOA inspectors and prove their case. As the inspectors began their assessment once again, the Johnsons stepped forward, their expressions unwavering. Excuse me, Sarah said, her voice calm and measured. Before you continue with your inspection, we'd like to address the concerns you've raised. The lead inspector, a stern-faced man named Mr. Hendricks, eyed the Johnsons with a mix of annoyance and curiosity. Very well. What do you have to say for yourselves? Michael stepped forward, his posture confident. We've gone through each and every one of the alleged violations you cited, and we can prove that our maze is in full compliance with all HOA regulations. The inspectors exchanged skeptical glances, but the Johnsons pressed on, systematically addressing each issue with detailed documentation and evidence. As the presentation unfolded, the crowd of neighbors that had gathered began to murmur in approval, their initial concerns about the maze's legality quickly dissipating. Look at these safety protocols, one resident exclaimed, holding up a neatly organized binder. They've clearly put a lot of thought and care into this. Another neighbor, a retired firefighter, nodded approvingly. And the electrical work checks out too. These folks have done their homework. Mr. Hendricks and the other inspectors listened with growing unease, their expressions becoming increasingly defensive as the Johnsons dismantled each of their allegations. Finally, Michael stepped forward, his voice firm and resolute. So, as you can see, our Halloween Town maze is in full compliance with all HOA regulations. We've been doing this for years, and it's become a beloved tradition in our community. He paused, his gaze sweeping over the crowd of supportive neighbors. And we're not going to let you take that away from us. The inspectors exchanged uneasy glances, the weight of the community's disapproval bearing down on them. Mr. Hendricks cleared his throat, his voice uncharacteristically hesitant. Well, it seems you've addressed all of our concerns. I suppose we'll have to reconsider our position on this matter. A cheer went up from the crowd, and the Johnsons exchanged triumphant smiles. Their hard work and determination had paid off, and the Halloween Town maze would live to see another year. As the inspectors retreated, the Johnsons were surrounded by their grateful neighbors, their children beaming with pride. "I can't believe we did it," Lily exclaimed, throwing her arms around her parents. Aidan grinned, his superhero cape billowing in the cool autumn breeze. "This is the best Halloween ever." Sarah and Michael shared a relieved embrace, their hearts swelling with joy. They had fought for their family's legacy, and they had won. In the days and weeks that followed, the Halloween Town maze became an even greater source of community pride and celebration. Word of the Johnsons' victory over the HOA had spread like wildfire, drawing visitors from all over the city to experience the renowned haunted attraction. As Halloween night arrived, the streets were alive with excitement. Costumed children and adults alike lined up eagerly, their faces aglow with anticipation. The Johnsons greeted each guest with enthusiasm, their smiles radiant as they welcomed the throngs of visitors. "This is incredible," exclaimed a woman in an elaborate witch costume. "I can't believe the HOA tried to shut this down. It's the best haunted maze I've ever seen." Lily and Aidan darted through the crowd, high-fiving the guests and reveling in the success of their family's creation. They had watched their parents fight tirelessly to save the Halloween Town maze, and their efforts had paid off in the most spectacular way. "I told you we wouldn't let the HOA ruin our Halloween," Aidan said, his eyes sparkling with mischief. Lily nodded emphatically, her witch's hat bobbing with the movement. "And now the whole neighborhood loves it even more." As the night wore on, the Johnsons watched with pride as the Halloween Town maze captivated the community. Laughter and screams echoed through the streets, mingling with the eerie sounds of the haunted attraction. But the real triumph came when the HOA members, who had once sought to shut down the beloved tradition, found themselves drawn to the maze, their faces alight with a newfound appreciation. Mrs. Wilkins, the HOA president, hesitantly approached Sarah and Michael, her expression sheepish. I have to say, this is quite impressive," she stammered, her gaze darting around the enchanting display. "I had no idea how much this meant to the community." Michael smiled, his eyes twinkling with mischief. "Well, Mrs. Wilkins, I'm glad you could finally see the light. This maze is more than just a Halloween tradition. It's a symbol of our neighborhood's spirit and resilience." Sarah nodded in agreement, her voice warm and sincere. "And we're grateful to have the support of our wonderful community. This is just the beginning of an even bigger and better Halloween Town maze for years to come." As the Johnsons continued to greet their guests, the once skeptical HOA members found themselves drawn deeper into the haunted experience, their initial reservations melting away in the face of the community's genuine enthusiasm. On that magical Halloween night, the Halloween Town maze had not only survived the HOA's attempts to shut it down, but had emerged as a true symbol of the neighborhood's unity and pride. And for the Johnsons, it was a testament to the power of determination, community, and the enduring spirit of the season.